Ready? Down by the banks of the hanky-panky with the buffer. Down from bank to bank where the heaps, hops, hopes, piccadilly, and a kerplump.
Hi guys, we're back and we're going to go on to our road less travelled. Okay, so we're going to go on you, who are you at that stage after you lost somebody. So I can remember standing in the kitchen one day and realize that the clothes that I've got on, that's after I left my husband. So he decided he's going to go on leave with this woman with my 2 children. And I think he was gone for 3 weeks or something, 15 days or something like that. But I know I lost a lot of weight. And I can remember staying in the kitchen and suddenly I saw, that my clothes were like just falling off me. And I thought, did I make the right decision, to divorce him? Because, I definitely still loved him. I worshipped the ground he walked on. And now he's gone and I'm all alone because at that stage we hadn't sold our house yet. So he has my children with another woman. They're not the one he had an affair with, but another woman that I knew very well that was neighbors with our best friends. Oh, I beat myself up with this one. I get a lot of people that go through the same thing. That's when you are so scared. You are terrified of losing another something. In my case, I was terrified losing my children because I thought, just now they're going to fall in love with this new woman and they're going to forget about their mother. And it's all this crazy stuff that goes through your mind, honestly, guys, nobody can replace a parent. So no need to worry about that. If you're a good parent, nobody can ever, ever, ever replace you. Blood is thicker than water. I think even if you're really a bad parent, nobody would be able to replace you. A child's love is so unconditional and it doesn't feel like it sometimes. It really feels like they're fighting us, but when they are little, they adore you and they just want their mommy and daddy to be together, They don't want them to be separated or they don't want their daddy to be with somebody else, and they definitely can see if their mommy or daddy is really unhappy. They can see that definitely. I'm extremely guilty where I was one of those people that never realized. There was a moment after I got divorced where one night I used to dance whenever I felt emotional. I used to dance on music and I just dance in my own space in the living room. And I thought I was alone, and then my little boy was sitting there against the wall. And he was watching me, dancing and crying. And, I can remember one night crying so much. I can remember my little girl, she was like, don't worry, mommy, everything's going to be all right. So what we do as grown-ups, I wasn't that grown-up, but I'm just saying, we are so involved in our own sadness and our own grief that we forget that there's other people around us that's also going through that, and especially our little children. They feel it so intensely. That's why they say that divorce is one of the worst things that can happen to a child. Yes, we do make it easier for them by trying to be friends with our exes. I think that's very important, that you've got to have a good relationship with that person. Otherwise, it's not a good thing for your children. You know what? If you think of the defining moments in their lives, they need their mom and their dad there. They need their mom and their dad when they turn 16, when they turn 18, when they turn 21, when they graduate. There's certain times in their lives when they get married, they do need us as parents to be a unit. Doesn't matter how much you can't stand your ex. You got to get along with them for your children's sake. Please, people, this is very important. I know it's difficult. And I know there's a lot of jealousy in your next relationship. Just say you got married again and your husband wouldn't like you to have a good relationship with your ex. But you know what? Unfortunately, when you as a parent get married the second time around, you are not just you. You are you plus 2 or 3 or 1, how many children you've got. So whoever gets involved with you, They got to take you there, and they got to realize, listen, these children have got a mother or a father, so that those rules have got to be there right in the beginning of the relationship. Otherwise, let me tell you, I can tell you now that relationship won't work. If you're a mother or a father, your relationship won't work if your partner does not help or understand that you've got children and that children's got another parent. So yeah, and with you having a kind of relationship with the mom or dad is really important, because there's communication that needs to take place through their lives. You both gave birth to those children. You both made them, so you've got to take responsibility for those kids and for your relationship with your ex, with their father or their mother. So yeah, that's one of the things. Future plan. You know, that's so sad about losing someone or something. Everything changes. Suddenly your entire future looks different. So I think it's very important to realize that it's okay, and that the future that you imagined is not there anymore. But you are in control. You better stay in control, let me tell you, otherwise don't put your foot down and take your children's side, and not the side of the person that doesn't want to accept them. We as parents, we got to take our children's side. And I'm not talking about petty stuff. I'm not talking about, you know, you also got to, the minute that you're in a relationship, again, you and your new husband, you got to, or your new wife, you got to make the children part of your decisions. I can remember before I got married to my husband that I'm married to now, I had 2 children and he had 2 children, and we got the children together one day, and we actually asked them if we could get married. And we were quite nervous, if I tell you. We were so nervous that they're going to say no. I mean, what do we do then, you know? We even asked them, not, I mean, we already, like, we're doing things, but we asked our children, before we went on our first holiday together, we called the children in and said to them, listen, we are now going to stay in one room over the holidays. So we're at the ocean and whatever, so we are going to share a room. How do you guys feel about this? And our eldest daughter, she stood up and she had this meeting. They went to a different table and she had this meeting with the other 3 kids. And they were talking about this whole thing, and then they made a decision. And they actually came back with this. They said that, okay, it's fine if you guys tell us that you are going to get married one day. So we unfortunately had to make a bit of a promise there, but we knew we were going to keep it, that we are going to get engaged at least sometime. It's really important to make your children part of your decisions. Yes, children cannot dictate what you can and what you can't do, but you've got to give them the benefit of the doubt. Don't give them anything, don't let them rule you, but you've got to make them part of your life's decisions in a way. You know your children, so you will know how to handle them. So, yeah, I think who you are becoming is very important, you know. And I almost lost it, because I almost, and I take responsibility. I take half of the responsibility for the problems that my children had as teens, because of the things that I did and things that their dad did. So we are all guilty. There's not only one person in a relationship that's guilty. You know, I was guilty of a lot of things, and my husband was guilty of a lot of things. But the worst guilt that we're supposed to carry is the guilt that happened after we broke up. Because that guilt should be bigger. Because I always thought my grief was, I was so involved in my grief that I didn't give my children, I didn't have the capacity to see. You know, I knew I was harming them in a way, you know, especially when I was crying at night and, you know, my daughter was telling me everything's going to be okay. I mean, really a 4-year-old. And my 7-year-old son sitting here and, you know, watching his mommy cry, and he's so unhappy, you know, because, I mean, obviously he misses his dad. And now they've been torn because they're now going on holiday with his new auntie, and crazy, and I knew they had to leave their mother behind. And I wasn't even thinking about what the turmoil that was going on inside of them. And you know what? They still remembered that. Daughter now that's almost 40. She still remembers that. My stepdaughter still remembers the day that her mom and dad got divorced, because it was very traumatic. And so your children go through a lot, and we got to realize that. We are so involved in our own stuff that we really forget that these little souls that are crying inside. So I want you to, on this road less traveled, if you've got to make the choice to get divorced or to separate, please not just only think of yourself along this road, but also think that your children had no choice in this. You're dragging them behind you. You're dragging them behind you, and they're just going along because they are still dependent on you as a parent to take them to places. So you're dragging them along on your road. It's not the road it's not their choice. It wasn't their choice. So wherever you can, not always, but wherever you can, you need to give them a choice before you drag them along. Give them a choice, and if they go to be dragged along your road, please show them more empathy than what I showed my children at that stage. And when I look back at everything, I thought I was a good parent, but I was a selfish 30-year-old parent. I wasn't actually a good parent, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I was just so involved in my own darkness, I couldn't see these. So yes, please, if you go down that road, remember you're dragging people with you, and be aware of that, of what you're causing in their lives. So I'm going to leave you with that.